What's up, lads? It's Dave, and today we're playing some X-Saber and Edison. This is not my list. I just want to say that first. This is Monster Gamer's list. I literally ripped it pretty much card for card, except I swapped out Morphing Jar for an Econ, and I changed up the side deck a little bit. But besides that, this is literally their list. This is not mine in any way. But I saw it recently on E3 Yu-Gi-Oh's channel, and I'm not going to lie, this deck has been so much fun. Gotham's Call is such a ridiculous card in Edison. Same with Fall Troll. Like, they're just so much fun to resolve. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, whenever I summon this guy or I resolve this card, it just puts a smile on my face. And Full Helm Knight is actually like the best X-Saber. Like, I know Arabellum goes crazy, ripping cards out of the hand, but this card just it just negates an attack, and then it just brings a guy back from grave when you kill a defense position guy. But yeah, I just started playing this deck, and I'm not going to lie, I've been having so much fun with it, so I just kind of wanted to show you guys a couple of my first games of this deck on DB Rated and Edison, just because I've been having so much fun with it. Now, obviously, I'm not perfect with this deck. Please don't expect me to be perfect. I messed up a bunch, but I just kind of wanted to show off my first couple of matches with this deck. Also, I just wanted to say Hyunlei is definitely overall my favorite card in this deck. Being able to pop 3, especially if you have it backed up by a decree or something, is so crazy. But anyway, let's get into the games. All right, this is game 1 I played. I honestly can't even remember what I played against. We'll have to find out when we get in here. I think it was something frog. But as you can see, my hand's kind of gas. I have a normal summon, mind control for on the crackback. I have Upstart to get some consistency, which I draw a Full Helm Knight, which is nice, which means my Gotham's Call is almost live. And I forget what I do here. Yeah, I think I normal, set, and pass, because like I said, this card's so good because it can just negate an attack, which is gas. So my opponent goes, they just set it back, they set a guy and pass. I draw both of the Saki one of take cards, which is crazy. I decided to take it because I feel like a lot of times when people just set a card, it's usually Raikou, but it was Treeborn Frog, and I didn't want them to get it back, so I just made a Armory Arm, and I normaled Arabellum, and then I went and attacked to get that greedy hand rip. They had Mirror Force, but I had the Judgment. Again, all the one-ofs, all the Saki one-ofs, it's crazy. But we get a rip here, and what do we rip? Allure, and then I hit with Armory Arm. And then main phase 2, I decide to make a Herbellum here to make so my emergency call's live, because otherwise I wouldn't have an X-Saber on field and 2 in grave. So that's what I decided to do, and it actually ends up working out, I believe, because they bring back Treeborn and they go for Caius to banish, and I just chain it. So I get my 2 guys, and I have a negate for the Gothams. And then, obviously, Brain Control. This is looking like it might be over pretty quick. So he tries to attack. I chain Full Helm Knight. And then I draw a normal summon. I'm like, oh, yeah. I mean, he's got to have, Battle Fader, Gores, or, he's got to have, some hand Battle Trapper. This game's just over. So I just Brain Control his guy, Battle Phase, and attack for game. And he scoops him up. We go into game 2 here. And my hand's also, it's pretty decent. I mean, it's got a lot of monsters. We have cat access, but we don't really have a way to protect it yet. So it's not really good, but it's not horrible. He does something I've never seen before. He summons Infernal Prodigy and then tributes for Malicious, so you actually get the draw one off Infernal Prodigy. I've never seen anybody do that before. I was actually laughing so hard. But anyway, he just tribute summons Malicious and gets to draw on passes. And I mean, it still gets him a guy in grave. I sided in Crow for this matchup because of Treeborn Frog and, mainly just for Treeborn Frog, but then obviously not Malicious. So we go, and I'm a greedy guy, all right? I would say I'm a pretty greedy guy. So I'm I see him with one guy on field. Oh, I'm going for the cat play. I'm trying to double rip. Of course, I will find out here soon that I'm an idiot. What I should have done is turned 2 of these into Arabellum, because I believe Arabellum just has to inflict battle damage. The level 7 Synchro to stack a card, but I believe that one has to inflict battle damage, but this one has to do it by direct attack. I thought it was battle damage, and not just a direct attack, so that's on me. Like I said, I'm still learning the deck. So I attack, and I try to declare the effect, but I'm dumb, as my opponent will point out to me. which, again, I'm just stupid. But I'm just learning, you know. So we attack. I go effect to rip a card, and he gores on this attack. So I still get to rip, but he gets his gores out, which is looking kind of grim because he gets, you know, a pretty big body, and I'm forced to, like, make a 7, and then one of these is going to die. So I decide to make Arcanite and just blow them both up, which is good, but it just leaves me with, like, an 18 defense guy, which is kind of weird. And now, here's the big misplay I make, okay? Like I said, I am brand new to this deck, all right? And I have DD Crow, and he has Malicious Engrave. Here's the deal. I'm like, okay, I could DD Crow Malicious, but Malicious is just going to end up getting him one body. Where if he ends up getting a Treeborn Frog Engrave, that's going to give him a million more bodies for turns to come. So I'm like, all right, big brain moment. I'm going to save this DD Crow for Treeborn Frog. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, just Crow the Malicious, Dave. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. So because I don't do that, I get super punished here. So he goes Malicious effect. You know, I'm like, oh, that's fine. And he summons out Malicious. He normals Diva, which is already like, that's pretty grim. And summons Stardust. And then, what do you know? He's got 3 Darks Engrave. And if I had just crowed the Malicious, he would not have that other Dark Engrave. So he wouldn't have been able to summon Dad. So yeah, I'm just very dumb. And now, I mean, this is just grim. This is very grim. Like, I don't even know what I could top deck to get me out of this. Like, it's not looking good. Maybe, like, I guess maybe, like, one of the, like Brain Control, Mind Control. It doesn't even do it, though, because it's not a tuner. Like, I don't know. There's probably a card that can do it, but it's looking pretty grim for me. I draw a Giant Rat, and I'm like, okay. So here's my thought process. I normal summon Ember's Blade, and I'm like, okay. I'll attack into this. I'll crash. I'll take 400. Then I'll summon out Full Helm. I'll Full Helm, attack into Dad. I'll Book a Moon the Dad. Dad will get booked. Full Helm will clear the Dad. Then I'll trigger Full Helm, bring back Ember's Blade, and then main phase 2, summon Brionic and bounce the Stardust. That was my game plan going into this. But then the back row was Mirror Force the second time, because game 1 he had it too, but I had Judgment that time. So yeah, it's unfortunate. Like I said, I should have just DD Crow'd the Malicious, but I am very dumb, stupid. Game 3, I have DD Crow again. But my hand's looking a lot of X-Sabers that aren't like the best ones. I mean, this can get me into some good stuff, but like none of my like payoffs, like no Gotham's Call, no Fall Trolls, so it's all right. It's not the best. So I just set and pass. He goes normal summon Stratos, grab Malicious, set 3 back row, and I'm like, Jesus, dude. What do I even do? So I draw Full Helm, and okay, here's the thing. I decide to blind MST because I'm thinking one of the back rows either got to be Judgment or Starlight Road. And if I can just snipe it, then I can just normal summon Full Helm Knight and make Hunley and clear the rest. You know, I'm a greedy guy. What can I say? I mean, definitely probably not the right move, but that's what I was thinking. And I end up hitting the absolute worst one, the only chainable that literally doesn't lose to MST. So I was like, this is grim. And then I'm like, you know what? He doesn't have it. He probably just set a bunch of chainables, like whatever. And of course he doesn't. Again, I don't know why. I am just such a greedy guy. So he judgments it, and I'm just like, I'm sad. So I just pass. I have this Crow, and then he normals Diva, and I'm like, oh, this is really grim. So he punches me for a crap ton of damage. And then I forget what he makes. Oh yeah, he summons Brio. And I draw for turn, and I'm just like, welp, I can summon a guy and set some back row. Or like maybe Ember's Blade crash into some stuff. Which is what I think I try and do. And he has Mirror Force for the 3rd time. And I'm just like, well, I could have chained Book, I think, to protect it. I think that's how it works in here. But like, I'm going to be honest, he's just going to Brio bounce it. Like, it's grim. So I just set, maybe thinking he'll just make a mistake, but he doesn't. He just bounces it and attacks your game. So, yep, that's grim. I DD Crow the malicious this time because of last game. And he goes ahead and I think he grabs like Dark Grepher or something, but the game's pretty much over at this point. We can just fast forward. And yeah, that's it. That's the first game. Going on to the next. Okay, we're back for the second match, and I gotta warn you guys now, this one ain't pretty. This is a war crime deck, okay? This is the kind of deck that, like, I don't know if y'all know the deck from Master Duel called One Bad Day. This is like that times 100. This is pretty grim. I'm not gonna lie. You guys are just gonna have to see, okay? So I win the die roll, and I'm like, okay, we're chilling. And you know, this is a pretty decent hand. You know, we got like a recruiter. We have the best boy Full Helm Knight. We have a way to get a guy in defense for him to trigger. Later on, if we get a guy in grave, we have protection. I'm like, okay, this is pretty good. So I just set Giant Rat, set Judgment Pass. And then this guy, the Azoth over here, he normals Jaugen in Edison format. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what he's cooking, but okay. I'm like, all right, whatever. That doesn't clear Rat. And then he activates Secret Village. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, all right, I have to Judgment this. I have to. Because, like, if not, it turns off all the cards in my hand. Like, it's literally so grim. So I try and chain Judgment. It goes through. And then he's got Terraforming for another one. And then he equips Mist Body. The equipped monster cannot be destroyed by battle. Do you see how grim this is? And you'll be like, oh, you can just book it, and then the equip will fall off, but I can't activate spells. So this is turning very grim very quickly. So that's another dead spell. So my only play is to flip, normal, and a punch for some damage, which is what I do. Yeah. And then again, all the cards in my hand are dead. He swaps to defense, and now he activates Rivalry. So the one out I had that I was thinking is Summoner Monk is a spellcaster. So maybe I could like normal him later on and then like use some back row removal. Nope. So he flips that, and I'm just like, okay, go ahead. And then I don't know if y'all were around when Mystic Mine was legal, but that's what this is going to look like because basically this is just Mystic Mine Turbo. I can't summon this. I could set it if I want, but I can't summon it because of Rivalry. I can't special summon monsters. I can't beat over it because of Mist Body. And I can't activate any spells because of Secret Village. So... And then I'm like, guys, listen, you have to understand. I was so down bad, all right? I was so happy to see Heavy Storm. I just flopped it out of... I windfall slammed that son of a bitch out of my hand so fast. I put that on the field with the swiftness because I was like, oh, get out of here. Let's go. He doesn't have it. And then I remember that the field spells up. So, yeah, this is even grim. This is even more grim. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and hit fast forward. This is pretty much what this game is. And you might be like, Dave, why are you still in this game? Because here's the thing. Currently, he's one card lower in his deck. I'm one card up. So I'm like, okay, we chilling. He's going to duck out because he's for some reason not attacking. I mean, he could definitely just attack and cook me, but maybe he thinks I have like battle tricks or whatever. That's fair enough. Oh, by the way, another piece to this. He summons Fog Kings, so either player can tribute cards. So like you can't even like tribute summon Caius or something. And then he also plays this that says if a spellcaster on the field will be destroyed, you can remove a spell counter from this instead. So it just the stacks just keep going. Like it keeps looking worse and worse. And then he says, and I was like, dude, like, what is this, the no fun zone? And he was like, you can't activate spells, you can't special summon, you cannot normal summon except warrior, and you can't tribute summon. So yeah, we're just gonna leave this on fast forward. But the only reason I'm still playing at this point is I'm like, dude, you got to show me a way to win the game because he has not shown me a way to win the game yet because he's like refusing to attack and all this. So I'm just like, dude, I mean, let me see it, and you'll see his win condition very shortly here. It is deck out, but like I said, I was up a card, so I'm like, what is he going to do? Like I said, I've never seen this deck before. I'm like, this is cruel. Okay, and here it is. Magical Blast. This effect doesn't matter. During your draw phase, if this card is in your graveyard before you draw, you can give up your normal draw, and if you do, add this card to your hand. So, I deck out, and there's just nothing I can do. So I'm like, okay, that was a fun game. That was fun, Yu-Gi-Oh! That was fun. Yeah. And then next game, I'm like, okay, this hand's pretty good. This hand's pretty good. You know, we have Fall Troll plus multiple X-Sabers and an Extender. But the thing is, if I just summon a guy and pass, and he just draws the combo again, I just lose. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to hope he doesn't have it, you know? So I summon my boy and pass. He goes Gold Sark. I'm like, sure. And he sets Magician's Valkyria, which is like the guy that redirects the attack to protect him. And so I'm like feeling pretty good here because he activates Rivalry. And I'm like, oh, I have MST for that. And he doesn't have the Secret Village. Like, okay, I think we can cook this turn. And then he flips another one. And I'm like, okay. However, this is a warrior, this is a warrior, and this is a warrior. So I can get a couple bodies out and at least put some pressure on. So to like put him on a clock, you know. So I do that. I go to battle phase, and he scoops, which I actually think is kind of interesting. I wonder what else was in his hand. Because if he had like what if he drew into like another stall piece or something? Like maybe he draws into like like another Magician's Valkyria, and like maybe he had another Magician's Valkyria in hand, and maybe he draws into that Mist Body card, and then we're stalling out, you know? So I don't know. I mean, maybe I could have made a synchro or something, but like then again, Rivalry's up, so I don't know. I feel like he might have still had a chance there, but we go on to game 3 here. And he goes first. And he once again opens the like multiple card combo of Terraforming into Jaugen. And like here's the thing. This on its own, like these two on its own, is not enough. Because I can just summon a guy and run over it. So you also have to draw a card to protect, which he's playing Scrap Iron Scarecrow. Like, oh my god. So I'm like, all right, normal attack, right? Because again, I can't use any of these. These are all dead. And then when I see this, I'm fuming, dude. I'm like, oh, I just want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! So he sets, passes. He swaps to defense, normal summons. And again, Book of Moon, dead. Go. Swaps to defense. And I believe with 2 of these up, I can't even declare an attack. So now it's looking really grim. But here's the thing. I have 1 out, ladies and gentlemen. My plan now. I play exactly 1 spellcaster in the deck, which is Summoner Monk. And I sided in Lightning Vortex. And then I'm also going to try and get access to Judgment. So I can go Lightning Vortex, he chains his Judgment, I chain my Judgment, and then we can just clear the board and try an OTK. That's the plan right now. So I'm going to go ahead and hit fast forward because it's going to be a lot of this. I drew the Judgment, and I'm basically just digging for, he goes for Judgment, but I'm like, that's fine. I'm just digging for Summoner Monk. That's all I'm digging for. He keeps establishing more board pots to the lock. I draw another Vortex, which is nice because if he has multiple negates, what you'll end up seeing, he is actually playing Dark Bribe. So if I use 1 Vortex and it gets negated and like through Judgment, I have another one. But anyway, I draw a Monk finally. So I go, okay, normal Monk. I use MST to destroy this, honestly just as a bait. Like, he ends up Dark Bribing this, but like, I don't really know, like, I have a spellcaster now, so like all my spells are live, so it's not like that insane, but and like I'm sure he has another copy in his hand, but maybe he thinks I could like kill him. But anyway, that baits out the Dark Bribe, which I'm feeling really good now, because now I know I have Judgment Vortex, and even if he has another Dark Bribe, I have another Vortex. So I Vortex, he changed Judgment, I change Judgment, and he leaves. Which, I'm not gonna lie, like, you're the one playing the stun deck, like, I feel like you should still stay, you know? Like, I played through, you know, your first turn. Like, don't you want to just say GG? Instead, he just leaves. And I'm like, dude, you're the one playing the hyper stun deck. But thankfully, it ended up working out because the Summoner Monk's a spellcaster. So, yeah, that game was a yeesh. Yeah, I'm not one of the best games of Yu-Gi-Oh! I played, but definitely a game. Let's move on to the final match. Okay, and here we are for the final match. We're up against, again, I think it's Hero Fraud. I honestly don't remember. I'm just going to wait and see. Or no, this is, I think this is just Quick Draw Dandy. So I win the die roll, and I go first. Hand's looking pretty decent. I mean, we have multiple copies of Full Helm Knight, which is honestly not a bad thing. And we have one of the payoffs of the deck, Gotham's Call. So I'm like, okay, I'm feeling good. So I decided to just normal summon and pass. I like keeping Upstart sometimes because maybe if I draw into Summoner Monk, it's kind of like the best spell I like to pitch off of it. And then he sets 3 and a card and passes. Now, here's Greedy Greedy Dave. I'm like, all right, listen, like I told y'all, I am a very greedy man. So I'm thinking, all right, I'm a Cold Wave, turn off all his back row. I'm a normal summon Air Bellum. I'm going to attack with Full Helm Knight, and I'm going to get that sweet, sweet hand rip. Like I said, I am such a greedy guy. Like, the only way this could have been way better is if I drew for turn like a non-tuner X-Saber, because then I could have Cold Waved and then went for Hyunlei, cleared the back row, and then attacking a Raikou, and then if he pops it, but I don't care. I just cleared 3, like that Hyunlei just went like plus a million. But I don't. And again, I'm such a greedy little guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm a greedy man. So I'm like, all right, I'm a Cold Wave him. I'm going to attack with Full Helm. It will simply not be Raikou. And then I'll just get a hand rip with Air Bellum. I was so sure of myself. I don't know why I was. This is a horrible play, but I decided to do it. He pops it, and then he mills Dandy, and already this is looking grim. I'm like, this is not good. I pass, and this is another huge misplay I make. Maybe I should have set the Gotham's E-Call. Like, I didn't want to like set it and run into like MST or something, which is going to end up proving to be a downfall later. But I go upstart, I draw to Call the Haunted, I normal summon Full Helm Knight, I attack, and then I try to like econ swap the defense, and then he mirror forces me, which is grim, but I have Sword, so I get a couple turns here. He sets a guy in passes, I draw a Fall Troll, which is not looking good, except for the fact that I can Call the Haunted this and then bring back Air Bellum, but I'm like, there's no way this goes through, right? But it does, and I was shook. I was like, okay. And then you're going to see me make a couple misplays here because I'm brand new to the deck. So please don't hate. I special Fall Troll. He bottomless is it. Jesus. And then he sets a couple more back row and passes. And then I draw Sangan, a normal Sangan. I'm like, okay, I'm going to make Hyunlei. I am cheating out of my mind here. I am so dumb. So Hyunlei can be made with a tuner and a non-tuner X-Saber. I thought it was the other way around. I thought it was an X-Saber tuner and just a non-tuner, which it's not. And my opponent's going to catch me on very quickly. Like I said, I'm brand new to this deck. I'm still learning. So I did not know. So I just put the Sangan back, put the Air Bellum back, and I'm just thinking. And then I end up making Goyo in order to clear his guy, and I go Sangan effect. Search of Ember's Blade. I just wanted Ember's Blade because I just wanted a non-tuner for Gotham's Call, and I also just wanted a non-tuner in rotation. So I try to attack. I mean, I'm like, there's no way this is going to work. Yeah, compulse. But, like, I got to try and force something out. So then I attack with Full Helm. I go effect to bring back. He gets Sangan Search. I bring out Air Bellum. And I'm feeling, like, okay-ish because Full Helm Knight can, like, attack Kaya, so he needs, like, 2 guys. And then if he does out it, I'll be able, even if he outs both, I'll have Gotham's Call with normal summon next turn. So he's typing, he goes pass, he normals Debris Dragon. That he switched off Sangan, and I'm not sure what he was going to make. Oh yeah, he made Ancient Fairy, because I'm like, there's no way he Black Roads this, right? So he just summons tokens, he has like so much back road, I'm just like, oh man. So I draw for turn, I draw another E-Call, and I normal summon my guy. And now I properly make Hyunlei, not cheating, and he hits me with Judgment, which is understandable. I mean, like, dude, if you're going to have 3 back row, there's, like, I really should only be making this card if I have, like, a known way to protect it. But like I said, I'm a greedy guy, so I just went for it. And then I go Gotham's Call to bring back, and then this is another misplay by me, which my opponent calls me out on. Hyunlei was not properly summoned because of Judgment, which I wasn't even thinking about. So we go ahead and revert that play in a second here. Yep, right here. So that goes bye-bye, and I just bring back Ember's Blade. And then he decides the Torrential, which I think is an interesting thing. I mean, I guess I could have gone for like a Goyo into some stuff and maybe like cleared a lot of his board. So it makes sense, I suppose. But he goes ahead and clears the board. And this is where I should have just set Gotham's Emergency Call here. Because if I top deck any X-Saber, I can just normal it and I can cook. But I decided to hold on to it because it's my last card and I'm just like, I don't want to just lose it to something random. Then he normal summons Lone Fire, Dandy. Hits me for 300. Pass, and lo and behold, oh sorry, not this turn. I draw Giant Rat this turn. And again, here I have another chance. I'm like, okay, I should just set e-call because maybe if they crash into this, e-call will be live. But again, I'm just like, for some reason, I just decided not to set it. And to be fair, if he goes Caius banish the back row, it's infinitely worse for me. But if he doesn't, then he has to crash Rat, and then I get to at least keep an X-Saber body on board. And then I would have been able to make Goyo possibly with my next draw. But I go down to 100 here, and then I draw Ember's Blade. And this is where I'm just like, ugh. Because, like, had I set E-Call and he banished Rat, because, like, I mean, I guess you could go one of two ways about it. Like, you could try and banish the back row, but, like, if you don't banish the Rat, then I'm getting value off of it. So it's kind of tough to say what the right play is. But if I didn't, then I could normal summon Ember's Blade, E-Call back like a Full Knight and an Air Bellum, right? I could make like a Goyo Guardian, like attack over a guy, Full Helm Knight attack over a guy, bring back a guy from grave. I'll have Full Helm to negate Titanial attack on any of my, like I would be in like such a commanding position. But instead I decided not to set it. And now because I can only bring back one Full Helm Knight, I am going to die. There's just nothing I can do. I guess I could have set Ember's Blade, but the guy it summons, oh, I guess this does summon in defense, huh? Oh, you know what? Looking back at this, maybe I should have just set Ember's Blade. Oh my god. Oh, you know what? I'm learning right now as I'm even saying this. I should have just, I thought this had to summon an attack. No, it could summon in defense. I could have summoned a Full Helm Knight from, like if I just set this, they attack, I summon out Full Helm Knight. Full Helm Knight negates the other guy's attack, and then I can just E-Call. Well, we learn. What do you know? I'm just learning this game. But yep, I am dumb. So I go ahead and scoop and go to the next game. And in this game, my hand is filthy. I have a Steel card. I have Full Helm access with another X-Saber, so that I have 2 for Godham's Call, and I have Judgment. Like, my hand is very strong. I decided to go with the classic, just set a guy, set 2 pass. He goes ahead and tributes for Caius, and I'm like, no. I'm not letting my boy die. So I just Judgment that. He sets, he goes to set a back row and then doesn't. So I'm like 99% sure he has Gores. But like, I mean, I still have to attack, but I'm like, he's probably got Gores. So I just summon a guy, I attack with my 13, and then I'm going to go attack with Giant Rat, but he drops it on the 13, which I think is kind of weird, because then Giant Rat can just attack over. It saves a little bit of damage, but I'm like, huh? So I just pass. He summons a Card Trooper. I was honestly expecting a Monarch. And then he attacks in a Giant Rat, which I just let go. I could have negated it, but I really want the floating, because I'm like, wait, I can just summon Rescue Cat and then negate the other attack. And then he better have some good back row, or it's going to be pretty brutal for him here. Which, as you'll see, he does not have any more back row. So I'm like, okay, this is about to be very grim for you, sir. So I go Cat into double Air Bellum. I mind control the Card Trooper, and then I just mill 3, just, you know, get some more X-Sabers in grave. And then I make Goyo. And now here's the thing. I could have stealed with Goyo, but I really wanted to use my Godham's Call during the battle phase to get more damage, and I wanted to rip cards with Godham's. So I actually choose, like, he gives it to me here, and I'm like, no, I actually don't want that, because I need 2 zones for this. So I just say no. I double hand rip him with double Air Bellum, which just feels disgusting. I rip Book of Moon. His whole hand's getting ripped this turn. You'll see in main phase 2. But I go ahead and rip another card. And then I call out 2 more guys. Attack for 2,600 more damage, leaving him at only 600 life points, I believe. Nope, I'm dumb. 800. And then main phase 2, I summon Godham's, and then I tribute the Air Bellum that would have died off Cat anyway to rip the last card. And I'm just like, I mean, I'm feeling pretty good. Like, whatever monster he top decks, he can't run over anything because I can Full Helm negate. On the Crackback, if he doesn't, he has to set or summon the card, or else it's just going to get ripped with Godham's. And I have a bunch of bodies to summon. So he draws, and it is not enough. So we head on to that all-important Game 3. And I forget, I go first. And honestly, I go second. And honestly, this hand, It's not the best, to be honest with you. Like, I have Ember's Blade Judgment, and I have, like, level limit, but, like, Ragigura with nothing engrave is pretty awful, and Giant Trunade, like, I don't have anything to go for a push here, so it's like, it could eventually become good, but right now it's kind of mid. And he opens with the absolutely broken Quick Draw Dandy. This feels so good. Drill Warrior, pitch a guy, set a couple back row. Like, this is as good as it gets for him. I decided to just summon Ember's Blade, attack, activate level limit area B so he can't just like go crazy on his next turn and pass. He gets to add back Dandy. And he goes effect again. He just pitches. I mean, he's completely fine to do this. I mean, I'm never going to be able to get over those guys, you know? He's just generating free advantage. And then I decided I only play 2 Ragigura in this list off of Monster Gamer's list because it really is the worst of the X-Sabers that you're playing. And I sided one out for, I think, Decree or something. And of course, I draw with 1-for-1, which just feels so awful. So I just pass. He summons back Drill Warrior. He adds back Raikou, which I thought he was adding back Raikou to pop my level limit, but he actually just has MST. And I'm just like, dude, I don't really think it's worth protecting the level limit area B. So, because like if you want to attack into this, that's fine. And if he wants to just hit me for 12, that's also fine. So he hits, sets another back row, but then I draw Royal Decree. And if you know anything, this card plus Hyunlei goes insane. So I set Decree. I set like another card and pass. He pops it, which I'm like, that's fine. Because I can just call the Haunted it back. And if he has any like baloney back row, I have Decree Judgment. So he attacks, and I just want to get this Call of the Haunted used now so it gets its value out. And he decides to still attack into it. I use the effect, summon Full Helm Knight. Main phase 2, he does the dodgy thing, and I go Decree on end phase. He changed Judgment, I change Judgment. So I draw for turn, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's time. So I summon Ember's Blade, I attack with Full Helm Knight. Full Helm Knight effect, I bring back another Ember's Blade, poke, punch, punch for a bunch of damage, leaving him at exactly 1600. And then main phase 2, I just summon out Hyunlei to blow up the back row, protected by Decree so he literally cannot chain it. And I'm like, this is the best. So I pass, he summons back Drill Warrior, adds back Debris Dragon. And then he's going to do, he's just going to attack for some damage. And then main phase 2, he's just going to a really good play. Oh my gosh. He's going to do a good play, which is just to banish this guy, and then he's going to Black Rose me and get some tokens, which is really good. I think that's pretty smart, but I have a very close to game shotting him here because I can Trunade whatever he has. Basically, I just need to draw a decent attack X-Saber here, and I can cook him. So he summons out 2 guys, and I'm just like, okay. And then the last card in hand is Avarice, and I'm not going to lie. Avarice is making me go, oh, man. Like, I see Avarice, and I'm just like, this is tough. So we're going to see what he draws into here. What does he draw into? Raikou and Dimensional Prison. Okay. So he just decides to set Dimensional Prison, and I draw Air Bellum, which is exactly what I needed. Now, this is going to be real crusty. It's going to use all 4 cards in my hand, but it is enough to get exact lethal. So I Giant Trunade, bounce back. I go 1-for-1, pitch Air Bellum to summon the Ragigura from my hand because the other one I sided out. I Ragigura, add back Full Helm Knight, normal it, go to battle phase, attack, and then use the effect, bring back Air Bellum, and attack for a game. I really like that game. That was a good game. So yeah, that was pretty much it. That was my experience with the deck. I honestly think it's a ton of fun, and I highly, highly recommend you give it a shot. I know there's no Dark Soul or Bogart Knight, but honestly, Full Helm Knight is such a ridiculous card, and every time I resolve Hyunlei, it puts such a big smile on my face. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Go check out some of my other videos, subscribe, and see ya.